Okay, I will call, excuse me, I will call the regular Board of Selectmen meeting April 3rd, 2025 to order at 7 p.m. And if I can have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up is public comment. If you'd like to make a public comment, please limit it to 2 minutes. If there's more that you'd like to say, you can always submit it to the Board of Selectmen. If you could give us your name and where you live, and there's a green button that has to be on. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Yes. Well, then you have to get up. Thank you. Yeah, very good. That's what I was asking.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Robin Greenspan, 50 Fox Run Drive. I serve on the Southbury Economic Development Commission, the Streetscape Commission. I'm elected to the Planning Commission, and I'm a member of the Southbury Chamber. I've seen the real impact of having a dedicated economic development director, and I believe eliminating this role would set Southbury back. Since 2019, the director has built Southbury's first economic development department from scratch, helping businesses navigate land use, filling key vacancies in our town, and solving problems that could have led to closures. Through the pandemic and again after the flood, Kevin helped owners when uncertainty was high. He is the key point of contact at Town Hall when business owners don't know where to turn, like when the Bevy Company hit an obstacle mid-build and didn't know how to move forward. Kevin got answers, coordinated a fix, and helped the Bevy Company open its doors, and eventually earn a new Business of the Year award from the town. It's quiet wins like that keep storefronts filled and businesses thriving. He led the 350th anniversary celebration, a year-long series of 35 events that brought people into town and supported local businesses and celebrated Southbury. Without Kevin's coordination and the volunteers of the Arts and Culture Subcommittee, the anniversary would have been little more than a calendar date. He's also leading efforts to make the multi-million-dollar Volpe-Rosen property a smart economic asset, not a missed opportunity or a costly mistake, as I've only heard it referred to. That takes experience, consistency, and relationships already in place. Kevin's leadership at CEDIS, his tireless efforts for sustainable Southbury, his regular prominence on local radio and media, and his various relationships bring visibility and access to a statewide network of developers, agencies, and opportunities.
That's 2 minutes. If you'd like to submit that in writing to the board, that would be fine.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Kelly?
Good evening. My name is Callie Keenan, 975 Peter Road South. Since 2021, I've served on Southbury Economic Development Commission, and over these years, I've worked closely with Kevin Bielmeyer on several initiatives. Kevin isn't just a talented professional, he's also a kind, collaborative, and tireless advocate for Southbury. He was an incredible resource for local businesses during the pandemic, with Southbury seeing significant business growth in 2020 and 2021 while their communities struggled. Since then, he's worked to streamline the business permitting process, helped attract new businesses, and made sure that our existing businesses felt seen and supported. In 2023, he helped make Southbury's 350th anniversary a huge success, collaborating with local businesses, organizations, and coordinating a year-long series of events that brought energy, foot traffic, and revenue to town. When I was the chair of the SEDC Arts and Culture Subcommittee, I saw firsthand how Kevin supported the arts initiatives, not just for the sake of creativity and community enrichment, but because he recognized the arts as a vital part of our local economy. He is the town's biggest cheerleader, seizing every chance to spotlight Southbury in the news, in radio, in print, and online. Past accomplishments aside, Kevin has a strong vision for the future. Just recently, the EDC began reviewing a business retention and expansion program that he was rolling out, and I assure you that he comes to every meeting informed, prepared, and ready to move things forward. With one of our biggest campuses and top taxpayers being marketed for redevelopment, the funding for his salary has been eliminated. And it feels like instead of putting the momentum and experience forward, we're taking one of our best players off the field in the middle of the game. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Test, test. Jack Cesaro, 6 Concord Court, current chair EDC, and past president of Southbury Business Association and the Tri-Borough Chamber of Commerce. We all know Kevin, and we know where his heart is, but I think we have to really think about what's he done, not just for the businesses of this town, but to grow the whole town. There's a long list of accomplishments that these young ladies have already talked about, but to lose someone with that professional training, with a professional demeanor, and all the contacts that he has throughout the state and in Hartford would be a tragic loss. The EDC Commission, which I've been on for over 15 years, toiled tirelessly to try and get this position filled, and I think it's been a great success. It would be just a shame at this key juncture in our time of our beautiful town to lose him.
Thank you. Is there any other, oh, Jerry?
Good evening. My name is Jerry Leventhal. I live in Heritage Village. I'm a new member of the Economic Development Commission, started in December. I have been involved with politics in the village, which probably match politics anywhere. And I've been coming to the Economic Development Commission meetings, and I have a few points as more of an outsider still learning my way around. So some of the things that confuse me is that the selectmen are voted into office, but it seems there wasn't input from this group and a decision that impacts the town in a major way. So knowing that the IBM property is now for sale and losing a key resource in helping to market it, there's an old adage, and I take it this was cost cutting, but again, I don't know. But the old adage says sometimes you step over a dollar to save a dime. I also don't know whether the Economic Development Commission was brought into the discussion. Having worked with him for years and me for a few months, but as president of the village, I did work with him on a couple of projects, and he was as described. The last thing I want to say is, from what I've learned, yes, it could happen the way it happened, that the Finance Committee could act maybe as an outsider unilaterally on this. But what I would say about that is, even if it's okay to do it that way, it's really not the right way to treat him. And probably he's an at-will employee, and I just wonder what impact this has on all the other town at-will employees to have this happen so suddenly. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Yeah, I'll say something quick. I just learned about this
Your
meeting.
name
sorry.
and where you
Sorry.
live?
I'm Chris. I live in Southbury. I own a business in Southbury. Proud Southbury resident and business owner. I only learned about this meeting a couple hours ago, so I didn't really come fully prepared with, getting my kids out home from daycare. So I came down here, and all I wanted to say was Kevin's been a wonderful person to work with. I was already established in this town almost 10 years. I've been doing business in this town in the food sector, owning Nardelli's Grinder Shop. It's hard for people in my industry to get, connected with everything going on. And Kevin always made it, very easy for me as a business owner and other restaurants in the town, and really always focused on finding the right mix of types of businesses where we could all have a successful business here. Now, my business is something that is dependent on traffic. So having these new businesses come in, or having the IBM facility filled, or having, I know he's talked to me about other things too, possibly in the works. And having somebody focused and motivated and as excited as Kevin is, I just think it would be very hard, even if you want this position in the future. I just don't think you're going to find another Kevin. And I think it should be very, I think you should think strongly for keeping this position and keeping him in this position. And that's all I had to say. So thank you.
Thank you.
Really quick, I'm Ed Gilchrist. I'm the owner of Jar 9 on Main Street South. Just to tell my story, 20-some odd years ago, I had a business here in Southbury. I was the president of the Southbury Business Association and was trying to grow and found that Southbury was not really didn't want, we felt that Southbury really wasn't being an advocate of our company. So I picked up and moved to Oxford and was there for 20 years. Jeff knows the story because I was looking around trying to see, I have no idea how Kevin found me, but he came to he brought Jeff with him to my facility in Oxford and did a very good job, both of them, Jeff and Kevin, of convincing me to move back to Southbury. And through that whole process, and it was quite a build out and getting everything done in Southbury, Kevin helped in an amazing amount of ways. So in a way, as soon as I heard him, okay, well now what do I do as I want to grow further as a company? So that's my only perspective. I don't know much more about the policies or why it was done, but I'd hate to see him go and that role go. He's been extremely helpful. That's it.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Good evening, Michael Carrington, Reservoir Road. First of all, I believe Kevin Bielmeyer deserves public recognition for his efforts. I'm sure others can make this point better than I can, but Mr. Bielmeyer was well liked. As far as I can tell, he's always done everything that's been asked of him. That brings me to my second point. What actually was asked of our economic development director? In other words, how does the town of Southbury manage our town employees? Is there guidance? Are there regular performance reviews? Do we establish clear goals? Was the economic development director position always dependent on the grand list growth or other metrics? Is that in writing somewhere? I don't think so. So I think this is a bigger issue for this board. How we manage town employees needs to be fixed. I think most of you understand this. My third issue is with the strange process and the weird public optics. First Selectmen, Board of Selectmen, you were apparently okay with this position, fully funded. Great. Then it goes to the Board of Finance and they decide, wait a second, we'll do the bad cop thing. We'll do the super HR department. And so they decide to kind of shut down this position. I'm not comfortable with them having that kind of a role in management and operations. I don't think that's the role of the Board of Finance. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I think this could have been handled better, and I think if the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance want to impose greater structure and stringent conditions on the economic development director, they can work together in closer communication, better communication, establish expectations, and then see if those are being met. We could have done this in 22, 23, 24. We could do this in 26. So I think, I don't see the rush. I don't see the emergency. And just to be clear, I'm not opposed to making hard decisions on the budget. We can eliminate positions. We can fire people. But we shouldn't be doing that arbitrarily. We shouldn't look like we're making it up as we go, and that's what it looks like, guys. So in my view, the Economic Development Director position should be fully funded for the next fiscal year, and the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance should establish more clear guidelines for all town employees, including the Economic Development Director. I know I talked a little fast. I have a lot to say. And that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Chuck, are you making public comment? Yep. Okay. Before I call the third one, don't be afraid.
Yeah, so I'm Chuck Liddy, 1202 Purchase Brook Road. I am the president of Sustainable Southbury. I've talked in front of you before. I won't pretend to know all the facts behind this, but I was told by the Board of Finance that this position was to be defunded, which I had a hard time understanding because it seems like every time I open social media or get another email from the town, there's Kevin Bielmeyer bringing more businesses into this town. So it seems like, it almost appears like he's single-handedly kept us out of economic decline. And here we are defunding this position. It makes no sense to me. The larger issue is, you know, where do we want our growth to come from and what kind of growth do we want? I get that we want to grow the grand list, right? This makes a lot of sense. We don't have a lot of residential space left. We certainly don't want to get tax revenue from cars, right? Main Street's already like a highway, right? So are we willing to get rid of some open space to fund more commercial development? I don't think that's in the vision of our town. I was part of the POCD process, and one of the things we talked about is, you know, what kind of growth do we as a town want? What's our smart growth? What's our vision for growth in this town? And, you know, I honestly think in a multi-million-dollar budget, we shouldn't eliminate the one position that's helping us find more jobs and help growing that grand list. If anything, I think we should invest in it around a community of vision of what kind of growth that we want. So I'm more as frugal as the next guy. I mean, I think we just need to spend where it's wise to spend. You know, I'm wearing a shirt that's over 30 years old, right? It's like all of them in my closet, so. But, you know, there are some smart budget decisions that can be made, and I just don't understand what went on with the Board of Finance in this.
Thank you. Still good-looking shirt. Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Is there any other public comment? Hearing none, we will close that portion of our meeting. Next up is,
I'd like to make a motion that we add the budget, 25-26, and recent changes to under unfinished business.
motion is made and seconded to add to the agenda to discuss the budget. The budget?
Yes, and the recent changes made to this week.
And the recent changes to it. Under new business.
Or unfinished, I mean, you know.
Well, it's not, this is new business, so it would be new business. There's a motion made and seconded to add to the agenda. Is any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of adding it to the agenda signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? And it carries. So we'll do that under the new business. Okay. Next up is announcements and correspondence. You have that in newsletter. Next up is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Do I have a second? Second. Second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Any opposed? And it carries. Under bids and procurement, Public Works vehicle replacement, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed? And it carries. Bids and procurements, Oldfield Road Bridge replacement. Do I have a motion to approve the bid? So moved. Can I have a second?
Second.
Up for discussion? Anybody, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And is anyone opposed? And it carries. Minutes of March 20th, 2025 regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Can I have a second? Thank you, Tim. Any discussion on the minutes of March 20th, 2025? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And it's no, anyone opposed, and it carries. Nothing under new, unfinished business. Under new business, 4-day work week pilot program. This is so that the board is informed that we are going to do a pilot program starting June 1st of a 4-day work week in Town Hall. It is a pilot, reserving once we get through to see how that worked out and if we need to change it. Any discussion on that?
I'll yield to Ann if she wants to go first.
Ann?
One
question was, is there cost savings to working a 4-day work week to the town hall?
Yeah, there's theoretical cross savings of not opening the building on a Friday, but it's not. It's more for the morale. We're working a 35-hour week. We go to 1 o'clock on Friday, so it's something we could do for the employees that would give them a Friday off. And, you know, would I say, dare I say, could you spend it and say, yeah, well, we could save on a little electricity on Friday? Not negligible. It's more about morale for the employees and whatnot.
So my question you may have just answered. I guess I'm asking what problem are we solving by doing this?
There's no problem. We just feel that if there's a way we can, you know, we have employee appreciation where we have the Jersey Mike's, you know, just making it a better environment. Fridays, we, you know, like I said, we're done at 7. This is also going to give the public an ability to come to town hall on those other days.
That was gonna be my second question. It seems like we've extended the hours on the days we are here a little bit, and is that to make up kind of that lost time
That
on a
lost
Friday?
time and a half
So
hour
if-
lunch.
So if you're getting out of work, when normally we get out of work, you can still get down to town hall?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
I would just say, I'm very happy to see the 6 PM, having that one late night, getting people that option. It is important, you know, by the time you get home from work and get your kids and everything else, at least there's a half hour to get there.
Yeah, there's a little plus and minus to, I mean, number one, some people have no problem with the 1 hour lunch. Some people are like, what do I do for an hour? And then there's those, some of, they'll take a lunch because they're, you know, they're exempt. But you also have, you know, when you might have a night meeting. So it's a pilot. I want to be clear about that, that it's a pilot, not, we went from summer hours one year to carry the summer hours into winter, which was 1 o'clock. And now we're trying, you know, say, you know, there are other municipalities with a 4-day work week.
I'm just a little concerned about the town clerk, frankly, not being able to, you know, register deeds, et cetera. Turns into a 3-day weekend.
And
See how it
that's-
goes.
We'll do it a pilot.
Yeah.
See how it runs.
My question is about getting feedback from the community and how do we garner that feedback? I personally, before COVID, my job was firmly till 5 o'clock out of town. It was very hard for me to ever get here during business hours. So I love the 6 o'clock option so that people can get here to do business. But I am curious about how we're going to collect feedback from the community about whether this is meeting their needs.
I'm sure they'll voice their opinions to us if there's an issue. But again, I think the extended hours will give people, like if you're a homeowner and you wanted to come in, though we do them online, sometimes homeowners come in, they could come in to the window
Yep.
and be helped through it.
Yep.
So hopefully this is good for the public also. And again, we've been clear to the employees on June, that this is a pilot. And I also, when we went to the summer hours, we carried them in, after summer, we carried them over. I was clear that at the management's discretion, we could go back to this original hours. So that's, and this is the same thing, we could go back to the original hours if it just doesn't work out. But I don't see why it won't.
Well, I'm eager to see if it makes everybody's lives better. So we'll see.
I don't know if I'm getting out on Friday. There are meetings that are routinely scheduled for me on Fridays, so it's not like I'm gonna, we'll see. All right, next up was the discussion on the current budget as presented by and approved by the Board of Finance. Justin?
Yeah, so I brought it up. A couple clarifications. I mean, we're cutting service contracts, you know, there's not a lot of detail here, but we're cutting service contracts at the fire department, police, and emergency management. They're relatively small cuts, but, you know, are we sure that none of these things are gonna impact readiness or capability or training? What are they?
Ann?
I was at the meeting on Tuesday night, and I asked.
So
the
I
que-
heard the meeting. I tried to get on Teams. I couldn't. I called in on the 800.
Well, I just-
You guys couldn't hear me, but I did hear the whole meeting, just so you know.
I asked the question about fire dispatch and police and emergency management because I was worried about that. And Dan actually had told me it was administrative things that they were cutting. Is that correct, Dan? That's correct. Okay.
Is the emergency management director on board with this change to his position?
I won't speak to the personnel issue right here.
So, okay, so we don't know that.
Well, you could talk to me after.
I gotta tell you, going after Southbury Celebration, so, for those that don't know, I've done 15 budgets with the town of Southbury. The only person in the room that's done more is our friend over here, Miss Rosa. The last time somebody went after Southbury Celebration was in 2011. And that fall, Southbury elected its second Democratic first selectman ever, and its first majority Board of Selectmen Democratic. This is not smart money, going after our one-town party. It just isn't, even if Brian had, said he's okay with it.
May I, Justin, on that?
Yeah,
So at one of the meetings that we had, that week-long meeting, this 8,000 wasn't, I don't believe, cut by anybody here or anybody on the Board of Finance. The person who runs the Southbury Celebration.
I was
Brian-
at that meeting.
But Brian
too.
Jones actually said he would reduce his budget by 8,000, so that was his decision.
I think he was asked to do it.
Well, I don't know that, but I'm just saying what he
And I'm
said
just
on the
saying,
podium.
It's not smart.
Okay,
If it's done,
I'm
it's
just
done.
telling you what, that's what he
But-
said.
Cutting other positions is definitely difficult. I think it's workable. Some of these people are not even hired yet. Part-time library's not fully up and running. I'm gonna echo the comments we heard publicly. I think this is a terrible idea to let the economic development director go. From the role perspective, take Kevin out of it. You do not wanna be zeroing out this position when your number one taxpayer is on the market. Part of my economic development report tonight is that the IBM listing has brought renewed interest in the Volpe Rosen property, which is not surprising. We need this person out there right now, and the potential impact on our budget from the revenue side far outweighs any concern about what the guy's getting paid, in my mind. That's all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Okay. It's open for discussion. Anybody else?
So, I just wanna kinda circle back on this. This has been a very unusual budget year. The way that the budget process works is laid out by the town charter, and I wanna make sure I thoroughly understand, whether or not this body has the ability to even modify, like, what does the charter allow us to do? And I think that's important to understand, because this is slightly new territory, for me. So we, as a Board of Selectmen, we presented our budget, went to the Board of Finance, then the Board of Finance makes adjustments. Does the charter give us any ability to modify what goes to the referendum? And I don't know that it does, and I'm looking for clarification there, but does the Board of Selectmen, per the charter, have any mechanism to modify what comes from the Board of Finance and goes to referendum?
No.
That's,
No,
Right,
the
and-
charter, the charter is, I present my budget to the Board of Selectmen. No, let me take that back a step. This process is, the department heads put what they're looking for in their budget forward to me. And everybody should be able to see that, what is, they present. I look at that budget, their budgets, and I make either cuts or changes or ups or whatever, ups or down, and I present my budget to the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen are able to see what that department requested, and then they're able to see the explanations, which is, we've all seen it. And through a majority vote, you, and the Board of Selectmen can change the budget moving forward that I have presented, which is fine. We put more heads together and we talk more, and there's nothing wrong with that. From there, we take a vote, which we did, and we present it to the Board of Finance. And at that point, the Board of Finance makes the final decision on the budget. Am I correct?
Yeah, no, but I mean, members of this board and the public can certainly reach out to the Board of Finance and give them your thoughts, and I hope you will.
I mean, it was a unanimous vote by the Board of Finance on that budget. I think we did I think I gave a responsible budget, and the Board of Selectmen seemed to have agreed that it was a responsible budget. But I think there were some factors that may have come to light to the Board of Finance that changed. Maybe we would even thought differently had we known that number. So we will, I'm not gonna second guess. They had some other information on revenue, on the revenue side than what we had. And that's because of, we're gonna go into executive session to discuss a settlement. All right?
I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but I had a relatively busy week, and I didn't get to view the Board of Finance meeting, but I'm just trying to understand why the position has been eliminated, given the facts that, there are some important properties that have come on the market, and I think his position is well warranted in this town, and I've seen myself everything that he's done. What was the decision and why did the Board of Finance make that, to cut that position?
You'd have to watch the Board of Finance meeting, and I would, if you have questions, you can call the chair of the Board of Finance or send him an email. They made their decision. I was at another meeting that night. And in a normal budget meeting, we have joint meetings. To begin with, we have a meeting, we invite the Board of Finance to hear from every department head that we hear from, so they don't have to hear the same story a second time and call everybody back. That's really our meeting. Once we present the budget to the Board of Finance from the Board of Selectmen, at that point, the Board of Finance, the department heads, let's say there's a department head not happy with my budget, not happy with our budget, and wants to make a pitch to the Board of Finance, whatever that may be, they can request to talk with the Board of Finance without us there. That's the way it's supposed to go. And then if they want to talk to a particular individual, department head, at that meeting, they can call them to come in and talk to them, and we're not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be their. So if a department head wants to say, for lack of a better way, Jeff doesn't know what he's doing, and the Board of Selectmen doesn't know what they're doing, they can pitch their case. I mean, but that's how it's done, right, Justin? That's what's been done for years. So, and it rests, then they make a decision. And I have seen years where I've presented a budget, the Board of Selectmen cut the budget, and then the Board of Finance put the money back in. And it is what it is. And then we have to live within, our department heads have to live within the budget constraints. So I would suggest, take the time to watch the meeting, and then
I will.
And then get a hold of, it's the Board of Finance, and by the charter, they have that authority. All right? Any other, Jason?
Guess since everyone else chimed in. This might be the first time in my history I was ever in favor of a higher municipal budget than one that was cut. That's not usually my tactic. I had asked a bunch of questions at the Board of Finance meeting a couple nights ago. I'm not going to rehash them here, but number 3 on that list there, number 8 on that list were 2 of my larger questions. It's not my intention to second guess the Board of Finance. They're elected just like we are to do a hard job, and so I'm not going to second guess it. I hear a lot of what was said tonight, and I agree with a lot of it. I think to one of the points we heard that this probably could have been done better and maybe have arrived at the same spot, but I think we probably could have done this better. But now it's up to the voters. That's the next step in this. So the voters will, go to a referendum and decide if this was wise or not wise.
Okay. Any other discussion? We'll move on to the Selectmen's report. As you know, the town of Southbury Park and Recreation will be hosting their second annual spring extravaganza at the Park and Recreation Senior Center building at 561 Main Street South on this Saturday, April 5th, 2025. There will be a candy scramble, sensory-friendly activities, spring and holiday-themed crafts, educational information booths, a photo booth within the props and photo opportunities with live animals. For more information on this free all-age event, please go to Spring Extravaganza webpage. Last Wednesday, the town celebrated its employees and officers with an employee appreciation lunch from Jersey Mike's Subs. Because of the participation in Jersey Mike's Day of Giving, the town purchased and staff contributions were responsible for $1,100 in donation to Make-A-Wish in Connecticut. We encourage our employees that if there is a charity or something that they are dear to them, that they should approach us and have a discussion, because we want to support our employees in that. The IBM property at 150 Kettletown Road in Southbury has been listed for sale. Please go to the listing webpage for more information and to contact the listing agent. Earlier this week, I had a nice time. I get to have a nice time once in a while in that job. Earlier this week, Southbury Station Dog Luke and the Southbury Police Department hosted visitors from West Hartford Fire Rescue, West Haven Fire Rescue, East Windsor PD, and State Police Troop L, in addition to representatives from K9 for Warriors and the record label Better Noise Recordings. Station dogs and their handlers were on site for film video in support of the K9s for Warriors, Veterans, and Station Dogs program. The video and interviews filmed at Southbury will be used in conjunction with today's release of musical video Free Fall. Performed by the band Nothing More and Chris Daughtery, and featuring a local first responder from Clifton, Tennessee. Yeah, that's right. And Rescue Me actor Michael Lombardi. The music video was made in partnership with K9s for Warriors. K9s for Warriors is the nation's largest rescue to service dog program. The organization provides highly trained service dogs to veterans, first responders, and law enforcement to help cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, and other psychological challenges associated with working in those high-stress positions. To read more about the K9s for Warriors and the important life-changing work that they are doing for veterans, law enforcement, first responders, and rescue dogs, please visit their website. This is something that I have for the report. And I'm hoping that there's people who listen to this out in public. What I would say, Justin, do I dare say newer to town than we are? Walt Barber is retiring after 50 fabulous years of cutting hair, sharing stories and forging friendships at his Southbury business. Walt's Barber Shop is his business. Walt and his business have been a staple in the Southbury community. I wish Walt a very happy retirement. I just want to say there's some things about Walt's that is dear to me. When my father was in the hospital for extended period of time, Walt would go and cut his hair. And I mean, it was more than a week or two. Walt did this for many people without making any to-do. He treated many veterans very well. He was one of the few that knew how to do a flat top cut for those in the military. He's an icon of the Southbury, frankly, the Southbury, I think that Justin and I knew, and Tim knew. Sorry, Tim, recognizing that it was an icon. It was, even if you didn't have hair, you'd go there just to maybe hang out for a minute and get a cup of coffee. And nothing against our other barbershops. I doubt there will be another Walt's Barbershop. And this really spoke to how Southbury, how much, did a lot of other things besides charging for haircuts.
He's a great guy. been cutting my hair since I was 6. And when I was in college, I would wait to get my hair cut until I came back at Christmas time. So, yeah, he's going to be sorely missed.
Yes.
But congratulations, Walt.
Yes.
Congratulations to,
Shopping for a barber now?
yeah, well, I wish I could have a barber, but I guess not. On March 27th, my wife Barbara and I joined a sold-out crowd at Heritage Village Hotel and Conference Center to kick off Southbury Restaurant Week at Southbury's first Sip and Savor. We enjoyed sampling the outstanding food and beverages from talented chefs and bartenders in town who were competing for best appetizer and best cocktail of the evening. There is still time to take advantage of restaurant specials during the restaurant week, running through Saturday, March 5th. Please go to southbury.com for more information. And that's my report.
Who was the MC of that event? Was that Kevin Belmeyer?
Can we have reports from liaisons? Ann?
I had no meeting, but I just want to remind everybody that Friends of the Library will be having a pop-up sale at the Parks and Rec. Oh, thank you. April 11th and 12th, from 9 to 1. So if anyone wants to go get some nice books and help the Friends of the Library, that's a good event. Everything else is meeting next week, so I'll have a report at next meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Selectman Betty?
Yes, so tonight. IPOC has not met. Pool Oversight Committee met this morning. We are on schedule with the pool. So kudos to everybody here in Town Hall, Blake, contractors. If things continue as they are, we will be opening on June 21st. And it's a good thing. Economic Development, I did get an update from the director. There is interest going on up at the IBM listing. Kevin is in contact with the broker that has the listing. And subsequent to that, somebody took a look at IBM, said, it's too much building to demolish, and called about Volpe Rosen. So it's not surprising to somebody in the real estate business that when you have something for sale and something similar that's kind of for sale, people will look at it, especially now. What else do we got here? Starbucks just reopened. They don't really want you to stay. It's a little, it's a little tight in there.
Seat's kind of hard, isn't
It's
it?
a little tight in there.
The cushion is hard.
We've got some additional grand openings coming up, and shoot, I lost his email here. Yeah, so that's about those are the major items. So
Thank you.
that's it.
Selectman O'Neill?
Yes, the Park and Rec Commission met on March 13th. There was discussion of the Ladies Auxiliary. They met with Park and Rec, and they're trying to pass along the Halloween spooktacular because they don't have enough hands on deck. So that hasn't been approved for the Park and Rec Commission. Does attract a number of residents and non-residents, and it'd be sad to see that event go if it does end up going. As Ann stated, the library's hosting another pop-up sale Friday, April 11th from 9 to 4 p.m., and then again Saturday, April 12th from 9 to 3. Summer camp registrations continue. Most of the weeks are full. Lowest enrollment is the week of August 4th through the 8th. There was a discussion with Dan Feuerstein with regard to the Settlers Park gazebo and the summer concerts. Also, I guess the spring extravaganza event is Saturday, April 5th from 9:30 to 11:30. Spring crafts, live bunnies, candy, Scrabble at the PES field. They are looking for volunteers for the event to help prep it and also during the event. There's an Art in the Park event that's set for May 17th, Valentine Park. Southbury celebration is set for Saturday, September 6th. The gazebo, Settlers Gazebo concerts, again, discussion with the musicians, and there's a fundraiser planned at the Woodbury Brewing Company on May 1st to raise money for acoustic shells. They did have a discussion again on the splash pad with a survey, and pool fees are basically gonna stay the same. And there is also talk under other business with commission members that wanted to get into the old Grange Hall to understand that a little better. I guess there can't be a meeting there because there is no bathroom facilities. Upcoming event for the Community Relations Task Force. The next roundtable is set for Wednesday, April 23rd, 7 PM at the Town Hall. These committee roundtables are interactive meetings designed for members to share ideas, discuss issues, collaborate, and foster knowledge sharing and peer exchange. And the goal is to promote acceptance and understanding among all citizens of Southbury and to work toward improving relations within the community. Really a good discussion that they have. There's a number of people, keynote speakers are Harold Bailey, who's a motivational speaker, and he's founder of Team Westport, and also local attorney Wendy Bernard is another keynote speaker. Local clergy will also be speaking, and some Pomperaug High School students will discuss cultural events at the school. If anybody can make it, again, it's April 23rd, 7 PM, Town Hall. The Conservation Commission met on March 27th. Discussion was the treatment of Janie Pierce Pond, Transylvania Pond, a number of trees that are down along the trails there. The annual treatment, there's 4 treatments that'll take place this year to treat invasive species. And they do have the treatment from the Pond and Lake Connection, who's been doing that. They're treating for curly leaf pond weed, fanwort, and water chestnut. So, that's my report.
Thank you. Selectman Sullivan.
So Region 15 had to cancel their meeting for the 24th, so they rescheduled for a special meeting on the 26th. They're in their budget workshops. There is no video available online, but much like everybody else here in the community that's serving in these roles, they're deep in their budget workshops. And the agenda is available online, but unfortunately the video is not.
Okay. Selectman Van Stone.
The only one of my groups that have met since the last meeting is Charter Revision. We met again last night. We're in the home stretch now. We probably got about 6 weeks until we have the beginning of presenting to this board. There's a
Thanks for the work, because charter revision is not an easy task.
Seems like we've been on this commission, Ann, for what, 3 years now? But we're getting there. And I say it every time I give the report, Joe Ruggiero is keeping this group on task, and I look forward to finally presenting something to this fine group of people.
Thank you. Okay, next is executive session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation in the matter of Kettletown LLC versus Town of Southbury, inviting our CFO, Dan Colton, into the executive session? Do I have such a motion? Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. If anyone's opposed, we will go into executive session in 2:08.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
Sir?
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 Always a pleasure.
later.
actually make the change.
Bye, see you later.
How we should come back here. Right, she'll come back and they should
No
say,
kiss for us?
right, guys, they might be recommending this change, but it's up to us to decide. Meaning that. Doesn't make any sense. It's not how you run it.
Yeah,
not how you
it's
run it.
strange. Yeah, I thought the same, and I also thought it was kind of pointless that if they don't even have the power to change
Well, they
the
could
decision.
fire the whole
Right.
staff.
Yeah,
They could fire the whole freaking staff. Yeah,
thank you.
you know, it's,
Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
illogical.
Almost forgot. So hot out.
Yeah.
Okay. We are, yeah. We are still streaming, gentlemen, ladies, so you know we're still live and in color. We're out of executive session at 8:03. I will make a motion to approve the settlement of the tax appeal in the matter of Kettletown LLC versus the town of Southbury by agreeing to reduce the fair market value of the subject property located at 150 Kettletown Road to $19 million for the grand list year 10 October 1st, 2023, and subject to standard stipulations to be reviewed and approved by the town attorney to be included in the filing in the court of a joint stipulation for judgment and motion to approve the stipulation. Do I have that? I will make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Into the mic?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Everybody have, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 And that's unanimous, and we're good. Motion, do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion, we are adjourned.